What made you persist when you had been knocking on the doors, making the phone calls, and not receiving the money? Was there not a stage when you looked at John and said, let's just carry on with what we were doing. Let's shelve this dream of our own agency and go and work for somebody?
You know, you get to a point where you're almost tempted to do that. But I knew we had one chance of doing this thing. In fact, one last chance of doing it, because we tried before. Not with John, I tried with someone else. And you know, you have to be a tough-minded optimist in business. You've got to be optimistic. You've got to say, I'm going to give this a go, come what may, come hell or high water. And, you know, we'd extended our bonds, we'd done everything. We'd hocked whatever we could. As I say, that's eventually how we bought our cars. And we knew we had to give it a go, and we knew we had to be tough-minded, and we were. And eventually we got going.
Were you ever close to throwing in the towel?
Many times. Even once we'd started, because we had a particular year where we pitched, I think, for 6 bits of business and didn't win one. And that was really, I mean, we were so depressed and disheartened and so on and so forth. So, but again, you go back and you say, let's learn from this. What did we do wrong? And we actually went back to the clients and said, why didn't you give us the business? What was wrong with what we presented to you? And they were very kind. People are generally kind, and they kind of told us. And we learned from that experience. And funnily enough, the following year, we cracked 5 in a row, bang.
You've explained that it was that belief, that understanding that you had one shot at this. In fact, it was your second shot.
It was second shot, correct.
There would be times where you're not winning this business. Is it bloody-minded determination that gets you through it? Or I'd imagine you obviously were youngsters as well. You're quite bulletproof in those days. Was there a sense of foolhardiness possibly that kept you going?
It was a sense of naivety. Because being naive is actually a strength, it's not a weakness. The more naive you are, you'll do things because you don't know about them. So because you don't understand that if someone says to you, phone Mr. Harry Oppenheimer or Mr. Zuma or anybody, you say, okay, why not? Give me his number, I'll give him a call. But the more you know, the more experience you have, actually, the less likely you are to do that because, it might upset him, or this is wrong, and so on. So being naive is a huge strength. It's not a weakness.
It's, I think, a very important lesson, and it's something that you want to always have, isn't it? No matter how experienced you get in business, no matter how good an entrepreneur you become, you've got to remember that bloody-minded naivety and apply it still.
Absolutely. And, you know, these days, obviously, one has more connections and you know more people and you can get to more people more easily.
Yes.
But at the beginning, we had to be tough-minded. We just had to go hell for leather and just phone anybody, see anybody. And we were hungry, you know. To be honest, we were really hungry. I had a family, I had kids, all that kind of stuff. John didn't even have a house, in fact. He was renting somewhere. So we knew we had to make it work. And that's an interesting thing, because if that bites you in your bum, it's amazing what it does for you.